The area of my life I spend the most time in scored the lowest. And to be honest, I'm not really surprised. I've been living a life that doesn't fully feel like mine anymore. And this feeling has been lingering for a while now. And I kept telling myself that I will eventually deal with it later. Luckily, we have all the technology in the world nowadays, so I built something. What I built is a life audit. It is basically a tool that lets you look at different areas of your life and score it. I built it because I already knew that something felt off. My job, my finances, basically the life I've been accepting without questioning it. And the thing is that knowing something is not the same as facing it. And every time I try to look at my life, I always find a way to soften it, to make it more comfortable than it actually is. But enough is enough. So I decided that today I'm going to do this live audit on camera because this time I'm not going to let myself look away. So let's find out what the truth actually looks like. So I finished filling in the audit. I have to be say it was very, very uncomfortable to fill in. Why? Because trying to fill it in, I felt my mind trying to negotiate with the truth and what I wanted to sound like. It was trying to soften the situation. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like my life is horrible. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm starting to notice more and more the older I get, and I'm turning 37 this year, still can't believe it. I'm realizing that I want more out of life, more than I have been accepting, more than I've actually been comfortable with. That's the reason for creating this audit. It feels uncomfortable because it forces you to look at what actually is going on. And a lot of questions, in my opinion, I answer them low. Basically, you should see it like this. I'll show you. It's a score of 0 to 5, as you can see. And basically, it speaks for itself. 0 is when a statement is totally not accurate with what you're going through or experiencing, and 5 is when it's completely accurate. And of course, in between, it's average. So the majority, in my opinion, I filled in pretty low, which means that I have a lot of work to do. I am truly, I wouldn't say surprised because I felt something was off, otherwise I wouldn't have created the audit. But it's uncomfortable to see the reality, the truth, but at the same time, it's freeing. And it gives you clarity because now I know, okay, these are the things I need to work on. And my job is, at least for the coming 30 days, to work on those things. So what I'm going to do now, since I only put an X on the things that resonated with me, I am going to count the scores and then eventually count everything, add everything up, and then I'll get a total score and that tells me where I'm at. So let's go. Alright, so I finished filling in the audit, man. I'm gonna be honest. I think I said that before. Not totally surprised, but at the same time, it's a bit uncomfortable seeing the truth when it's written down. So I'm gonna just go over some of the sections, man. First of all, the first one is working career. I knew that this was feeling off, but not that off. I scored a 2 out of 30. What does that tell me? One of the statements was, I feel free in my work, not trapped by fear of what leaving would mean. And another one that really got to me, I feel alive when I think about the work I do, not just relieved when the day is over. And let it be exactly one of the things I experienced. Or basically, I should say the opposite. I'm just going through the motions, man. Another statement that's on this audit. So when I say I have no other option but to keep going with this YouTube channel, for example, this is the reason. Because I know that if I don't take action, I'm going to be exactly where I am today, only a couple of years older and regretting. So this is one of the reasons I just keep going. Let's move on to another section, health and body. I'm actually surprised that I got this high. It didn't come out right. I'm surprised that I scored this high because my health has been a little bit all over the place lately. And nothing life-threatening, but to such an extent that it actually makes things a little bit harder to do. Except, for example, the issues I have with my back. But I've been working on it, so I guess that's one of the reasons. So one of the statements, or a couple of statements, let me read them to you. I pay attention to what my body is telling me. I do not push warning signs aside. I gave myself a 3 here, 3 out of 5, because I have sincerely been working on improving my back health. If I didn't take action like a month ago when I had the weird ass pains, I would have given myself maybe a 1 or a 0. But I really put in the work, and I don't want to make it 4 or 5, not to give myself the illusion that I am where I want to be when it comes to my back health. So that's why I give myself a 3. I wake up rested. Sleep is something I protect, not sacrifice. I gave myself 1. And the reason for that is because, I'm going to be honest, a couple of months back, I was very strict with my sleeping schedule. And the last months, I've been lacking in that part. I sleep late, which makes me get up tired and basically throw off all my schedule. So it's not fun to look at, but it's the truth. So, and I did it myself. So one that I score high on in this section is I am not convincing myself that what I'm feeling physically is just stress. I gave myself a 5 because I'm really listening. I know that especially the back thing is not just stress. It's a part of it, a little part of it, but the majority I've just been lacking on working on improving my back health. So I'm gonna be honest. If you know, you know. You can lie to yourself, but eventually everything, the truth, is gonna come to light, and you're gonna have to face it anyway. And then you have a problem that you actually delayed going through that painful situation or experience. All right, let's move on. Relationships and people. I did not like filling this in at all, but I'm not surprised in a way. The people closest to me give me energy. They do not drain me. I gave myself a 3 out of 5 because I looked at people that I see on a regular basis. Not only friends, but also co-workers, right? So that's the reason I gave myself a 3 out of 5. And it makes sense, with the job not giving me enough energy and the people around me, I think it kind of makes sense. And we got some family things going on right now also that kind of is draining. So that's one of the reasons I gave myself a 3. 2 things I scored high on were the people I spend time with are pulling me forward, not keeping me small. We've been working on things in the background. And when I say we, I mean me and my sibling, that are making me get out of my comfort zone. And I feel like I'm growing, even though it's a bit scary sometimes. The conversations we have, they're not always comfortable, but at the same time, by having those conversations, I realize I need to step up my game. So that's why I gave myself a 5. And another one I gave myself a 5 on is I feel truly seen by at least one person in my life, not just tolerated. And that 5 comes especially because of my girlfriend. I've never been so loved this much in my life. And of course my mom, but I mean like with someone that is a romantic partner. This woman does everything for me and listens to me, so I have nothing to complain. So that's why I gave it a 5. Number 4 is emotions and mindset. 15 out of 30. I have to say that it's because I recognize some certain things, but I don't feel like I'm doing enough when it comes to them. Let me give you an example. I notice my emotional patterns before they take over. I am not always reacting. I gave myself a 2 because I'm starting to notice them. I'm actually also starting to ask myself, why do I do what I do? Or why do I think the way I think? For example, let's say I see a Lamborghini. First thing that comes to mind, I can't afford it. Fact is, I cannot afford it at the moment because financially I can't. But at the same time, I'm starting to ask myself the question like, when or why did you get to a certain point that you believe that you're not ever able to afford it? While in the past, if I just get that thought, I would just feel bad about it and just let it go. But I'm actually aware of what I'm thinking and I'm trying to research why I got to that point. So anyway, I hope it makes sense. But since I'm just starting doing this, I give myself a 2 because I don't feel like I'm that advanced yet. Another thing is I do not make permanent decisions when I'm in a temporary emotional state. I'm gonna be honest, I did it once. It was something minor, but I gave myself a 4 because usually I don't. And as I say this, I realize maybe I need to reconsider. I might give myself a 3 because even though I say I don't usually do it, I did it once, so that means I'm doing it, right? So last one of this section. The way I speak to myself is something I would be okay saying to someone I love. And I gave myself a 2 because when I spiral, let me tell you, when I spiral into negative emotions, there's no stopping. I become so heartless to myself that I say to myself sometimes, if I would talk to my girlfriend, for example, like this, she would not tolerate that. So that's why I give myself a 2 because it can get very heavy sometimes. And at the same time, I'm using that pain I'm feeling, the frustration, the anger, the everything to turn it into my power by, for example, creating an audit like this. So that's what I'm telling you, man. These things are not comfortable. Let's move on though. Purpose and growth. I gave myself a 16 out of 30. I'm gonna keep it short, otherwise this video is gonna be way too long. I give myself 16 out of 30. Why? There's some statements here that I don't feel like I'm there or I'm doing anything with them, so that's the reason. For example, actually the lowest scores on this were 2s. I have 3 2s. I have a clear sense for what I want my life to look like, not just a vague feeling. If you would ask me right now, the details, I couldn't tell you them. I know like the bigger picture, but the details I don't know. So that's why I give myself a 2. I'm not gonna go too deep into those things in this video, maybe a different video, but just want to go over it very quickly. Let's move on to the next one. Next statement. This one, beautiful. I am not still waiting for the perfect moment that never seems to come. And I give myself a 4 out of 5 because I'm preaching about not waiting for the perfect moment. And even though I'm not doing it with everything yet, my focus is still on not waiting for too long. Just take action. For example, when I got the idea for this video, I say, you know what, I can wait a month and then start thinking about ideas. But I said, no, I'm going to start right away, creating a concept and slowly but surely building a structure for the series. And here I am filming this for you. So, of course, for myself. So definitely a 4. Last but not least, section number 6, freedom and finances. Some statements. So the lowest I give myself here is a 0. So I'm going to go over that as the last part. So the first statement is, I feel financially stable or I have a real plan to get there, not just hope. I give myself a 2. Not because I have hope, but look, I got some money saved. In my opinion, not a lot. It doesn't make me feel financially stable, especially not with all the plans I have, right? If I didn't try for anything else, I would say yes. The money I have saved is making sure I'm financially stable, but I'm not. So that's why I give myself a 2. And another statement, I am building towards something financially, not just paying bills and starting over. I give myself a 3 out of 5. Like I said, we're working behind the scenes on something. So I do feel like the money I'm having or saving to achieve the thing I want to do is definitely being used for things in the future. So in a way, I am working on building something financially. But again, with all the plans I have, I feel like it's far from enough. So that's why I give myself a 3. And the one I had gave myself 0. I am not staying somewhere purely because I'm scared of what leaving would cost me. Again, this has to do with the job. I am staying there because I'm scared of what it might cost me if I leave. And it all comes down to the fact that I feel like with all the plans that I have, I am not financially stable to leave. Because if I was, I would have left. It feels uncomfortable saying this out loud, but at the same time, it releases a type of energy. Because now I know like, okay, you've written it down. It has been crystallized. Something you already knew in your mind. But when you write it down, it becomes more realistic. And no matter how uncomfortable, I'm using this to better my life. Alright, so I finished filling in the total scores. I got 88 out of 180. Basically, it means that I'm surviving, but not thriving. And to be honest, that number really doesn't surprise me because this was something I already knew, something I felt. That's one of the reasons I created the audit. But seeing that written down, it hits different, man. It really hits different. I used to know somebody who told me once, and I would never forget that. That person said to me, your current situation is not your final destination. And that always stuck with me. So this is where I am now, but I'm not going to stay here. So over at least the coming 30 days, I am going to work on what this audit showed me. On camera, so you and I both can see what is actually changing and what isn't. This is day 1.